So what is a VPN? Well, the acronym stands for Virtual Private Network, but really it encompasses a few different things. The virtual part is us creating a connection, really a link that we control that's going to traverse usually a public network. The private portion of that is the fact that we're going to use some sort of encryption or authentication mechanisms or both to make sure that the data is kept confidential and that nobody in between can watch the traffic and either play with it, change it in transit, or gather information about our intellectual property as we're sending it across this particular channel. So really we're talking about a site-to-site solution or a end-user-to-site type solution, typically over the internet. So there's several different benefits to running VPNs over using a traditional layer 2 wide area network. Typically, when you're building a layer 2 wide area network, a closed network, if you will, you have to either purchase lease lines or a shared service like frame relay or ATM, and that can be very expensive, especially if your network is quite vast or very spread out. It's very static in nature, so if there's problems with a particular carrier, you can have some significant problems with reachability through your network. But it does have the advantage of being more secure because you're not traversing a public network. Now, a virtual private network, at least one's connecting over the internet, if you will, is a much cheaper solution. At each of our sites, we just need to make sure that we have high-speed bandwidth connectivity to the internet itself. It scales much better since we're using the global internet to connect all of our sites. But we have the security concerns that we have to address when we're doing this, because we are sending our very important intellectual property over the internet. We have to make sure that the information we're sending isn't going to be seen by prying eyes. So the maybe less secure thing here is the fact that we have to go and do due diligence to make sure that our information is kept encrypted and not seen by people on the internet. So a classic example of doing VPNs is the site-to-site VPN. In this case, we have the home office or headquarters office connecting a remote office via the internet, and we're using an IPsec channel or a VPN tunnel using IPsec, which I will refer to it that way as well, using an IPsec channel over the internet to make sure that the information is encrypted and kept private, and this virtual network that we build over the internet allows us to transport data back and forth between these two offices. Another great solution for virtual private networks is the evolution of what we used to do with dial-up networking with PSTN and ISDN type solutions, where typically we'd have a mobile user who would dial up to a access server at our headquarters, which would be a bank of modems or ISDN equipment, which would allow us to dial in and gain access to our home network while we're on the road. In this scenario, what we're doing is running VPN client software on our mobile machines, typically our laptops, and then using that to connect back to headquarters over the internet. So a very good solution here as far as dealing with your mobile users, mobile workforce, as they're going from sales call to sales call, or for whatever reason they need to be at a client site. This solution is certainly a very elegant solution to allow connectivity back to headquarters. It also reduces the amount of extra equipment you need and have to maintain from a home office perspective, from the standpoint of multiple modem banks and ISDN equipment, as well as dealing with the extra cost of the dial-in user support, as well as the financial side of things of having to submit expense reports for dial-in users and so on. So there's some significant advantages on many facets of allowing our users to connect in via a VPN client software on their mobile devices.